I feel like when people look back on the history of YouTube and even like music in general, like especially from the 2010s, people just tend to neglect the impact that schmoyoho have made. They are some of the greatest YouTubers to have ever graced the platform, and they are literally the godfathers of meme music as it stands today. And I just feel like they don't get enough recognition. Maybe when they first came out they got recognition, but nowadays it feels like they don't get the same love that they used to. And as you know, this series REMreCAPS is used to recap on important things about my life, and growing up as someone who was on YouTube since Soulja Boy made Crank That, I think it's really important that we highlight some of the greatest YouTubers ever and go through what made them so great. As you already know, I did a REMreCAPS video where I recapped 2010's music, and schmoyoho was nowhere in there because I felt like they just deserved their own video. They did so much for music throughout that decade and even before that I just feel like I needed to really take the time to dissect what they had done properly. The reason why I call them the godfathers of meme music is because they've been doing it since 2009, and they did something that I don't think I've seen anyone else do before at the time, which was take news stories and auto-tune them and create songs with them and make them catchy as well, to the point where a lot of the songs became more successful than the original news reports in the first place. Taking regular people that just had a few minutes on the news recounting a story and then turning it into a viral hit song, and them even making money off it when they put it on iTunes and sharing it with those people. And over the years they've managed to collaborate with people like Weird Al Yankovic, Blondie, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who was on that 70s show, amazing show by the way, Darren Criss from Glee, and also big YouTubers like Boogie2988, Nice Peter from Epic Rap Battles of History, which I need to do a video on them as well, Markiplier, JonTron, and even PewDiePie. Their creativity, just from taking the news story, finding what works, creating a hook, creating the verses, adding their own harmonies, injecting themselves into the videos. Like what they do with their videos is insane. And not just news stories, but it could be movie scenes, it could be some other random viral video. Like they just got it all. So we're gonna go through every single year of schmoyoho essentially and pick a favorite song and then some honorable mentions. So we're gonna start with 2009, which is when they first started uploading these kinds of videos. Admittedly, I didn't get into schmoyoho until 2010, which is when most people found out about them, because we'll get into that later. But I still had to go back and, you know, study the history to see where we came from, you know what I mean? I would actually play the music for you, but you know, copyright's a bitch, so you're gonna have to search it up yourself. So my favorite song for 2009 schmoyoho would be Pirates, Drugs, Gay Marriage. Which, I mean, I guess the title speaks for itself. They do certain kinds of songs where they just auto-tune random different news stories instead of just one. So they put them like together in one big song, and they usually come together really nicely. So definitely give this one a watch. For honorable mentions, we got auto-tune, Cute Kids, and Kanye, which I guess the title is self-explanatory. They use that Kanye scene. If you remember 2009, you remember the VMAs when Kanye said that Taylor didn't deserve the award and it belonged to Beyonce. They used that. They used Shawty Put My Finger in there. Like, there was a lot of things in there. And the other two picks for honorable mentions would be Winston Churchill, backed by Band from the Future, and John F. Kennedy, backed by Band from the Future, where they just took really ancient clips, you know, ancient, right, from the 1900s, and then just auto-tuned them for the modern day. Overall, a good start for schmoyoho. Not my favorite year, obviously, but they were still figuring out the ropes. But 2010 is where it all comes together. Oh, God. If you were on YouTube in 2010, you knew about this. Everyone knew about this song. Favorite song, Intruder Song. We all remember this. The thing about auto-tuning the news is that you can only do so much because you have to work with the news story. And with the case of Intruder Song, Antoine Dodson, who was the guy who was in the video, was such a character himself that there was so much high quality material to work with that the song came out amazing. The original news story in its own was already comedy gold. And then when schmoyoho took it, they just made an amazing song. Probably their best song to date, definitely their highest viewed song. It did over 100 million views, which in 2010 YouTube is crazy. I don't actually know how many views it had back then, but I did watch it when it was new. I just don't remember the exact view count, but now it's over like 140 million. But the views it was getting for 2010 YouTube were insane because it was actually a viral song. And they ended up putting a full version on iTunes with Antoine Dodson getting some of the revenue as well. So that was legendary. For honorable mentions, we got Martin Luther King Jr. in Memphis, which was him giving his last speech. That was obviously songified. Really good song. As much as I said they do meme music, they also have more motivational, happy kind of songs as well. This is a more motivational one because obviously it's a Martin Luther King Jr. speech, but it's still like really nice to turn something that was not a song into a song and make it something a bit more catchy. We also got Kanye versus Bush, which if you remember when Kanye West said George Bush doesn't care about black people, it was like the aftermath of that. So that was a good one, obviously featuring Kanye and Bush. You got Mario and Mr. T sing by accident, which self-explanatory. That one's a classic. And then finally we got Backing Up. Oh, that was a good one. This woman was in I think a convenience store, and then some arm robbers came in and she was like telling the story of what happened. She was like, I'm backing up, backing up, backing up. Oh yeah, that's another great one. 2011 rolls around and schmoyoho is still fucking killing it. Favorite song definitely had to be Winning. This is Charlie Sheen. After the whole 2.5 Men fiasco, which it turns out he's bipolar actually, but the whole thing where he was going off the rails and ranting at Chuck Lorre, producer of 2.5 Men, and even John Cryer and everything, and they did an interview with him and they asked him like, are you bipolar? And he was like, I'm bi winning. And he's like, win here, win there. That interview was amazing on its own. So as I said, once you got the original good material, combine it with the schmoyoho power, they made an amazing song. Like, oh, that... If you were around in 2011 on YouTube, you remember Winning by Charlie Sheen. That was huge. I think even Charlie Sheen found out about it. Like, it was that big. So I think that's their second most viewed video. So you can tell that the run was strong. Honorable mentions of 2011. Reality Hits You Hard, Bro. Oh god, this one. This guy was in some kind of car accident. I don't think it was a major one, I'm not sure. I don't think anyone died or anything. And he's just retelling the story of how it happened. And he's like so animated and he's like, whoa, his sound effects, like fire was arcing from the back. This, you know, again, when the original material is hype, the song just becomes amazing. When you listen to the song, it starts off mellow and it just comes full force. And that's definitely one of schmoyoho's best songs. Then you got Believe in Yourself, which was some kid giving some motivational speech or whatever, and then obviously schmoyoho turned it into like a nice motivational song and it was really special. And finally we got Obama Sings to the Shorties, which is basically Obama singing Replay by IS, which is a song that came out in 2009. And schmoyoho actually did an initial version of this in 2010, but it was really short. So the reason I'm mentioning it in 2011 is because the 2011 version is an extended version of it, so you get the full experience. Now I mean, overall 2011 was a solid year for schmoyoho as well. 2012, oh, another fire year for schmoyoho. Favorite song has to be Gingers Have Souls. You all know Coppercab, the biggest troll of YouTube. Maybe you don't know him, maybe you're a bit new to YouTube, but he had this viral video back when South Park said that gingers didn't have souls. He made a whole rant video saying that they did. You know what schmoyoho are gonna do with that? They murdered this one. Like, oh, this is definitely one of my favorite schmoyoho songs, like, period. Definitely check that one out. Honorable mentions was really tough because this first honorable mention, I consider that for favorite song, and it was between that and Just Have Souls, but first honorable mention is Oh My Damn. It's by this YouTuber called Damn Drops, who does food reviews, and he reviewed Five Guys burgers and fries, and the review was amazing because Damn Drops has got so much charisma. So when schmoyoho songified it, it became so viral, and it really helped to like grow that guy's channel. They shouted him out and everything, and now he's actually recently hit 1 million subscribers, so good on him. He's a really entertaining content creator as well. Then we've got two other honorable mentions. One is called Muffins in Congress, the other is called Get Money Turn Gay, and this is the kind of style where they just take multiple different news clips from different sources and just put them together in one song. So we've got those two, which I used to listen to all the time back in 2012. Then we've got Obama versus Romney video game, where they made kind of like a fake video game song where it's like they're competing, Obama versus Romney, and they're trying to score points. That was definitely a really good one. A very interesting take on the whole thing. And finally, we got the Taxi Dave song, which is this taxi driver called Dave who's trying to promote his taxi service or whatever, and he's just really entertaining with it. And then they turned it into a song, obviously, the way schmoyoho do, and then they added their own rap verse to it and everything. So yeah, 2012, solid for schmoyoho. 2013 was another interesting one because there were so many good ones that picking my favorite was a bit tough, but I still have to give it to Smash Smash Smash, which was this hitchhiker called Kai who caught a ride of some dude, and the dude was trying to run someone over or something like that. So he hits the guy with the hatchet and he's telling the story, and it's just crazy. And then as memey as it is, then they have this moment in the song where he's like giving motivational advice, like, you know, you deserve respect, you know, everyone makes mistakes, and it was just, that song was amazing. And Apparently Kai is like in jail now for murder. I don't know like what happened with him, but it was kind of a crazy story. First honorable mention is the other contender for favorite song, which is Dead Giveaway. Basically, this guy had a neighbor who had kidnapped these girls for years and was in their house, and he had hung out with the neighbor, didn't even know that they were kidnapped in the house. So they'd been there apparently for a long time. It was a huge story, like in general, and apparently they managed to get out and call for help, and that's when they called him. He, you know, called the police and they arrested the guy. I think the guy killed himself, I can't remember. The black dude is like telling the story of how he found out and he called the cops and all that, to the point where like the phrase Dead Giveaway became like more popularized because of not just the song, but the original version of the story. Then we've got Why Manti, which is definitely one of my favorites. It's about, I think, a football player, some kind of athlete called Manti Teo, and he was on, I think, Katie Couric's talk show, and he was talking about how he had basically gotten catfished by some girl online. Like, it was a bit weird, and they turned the whole thing into a really nice song that it was really catchy. You could just listen to over and over again. Then we've got Obama, Let's Stay Together, which is literally just Obama singing Let's Stay Together by Al Green. They literally just find all the words and put it together. It's amazing. Then we've got, oh, I love this one, Thousands of Barack Obamas. This is a song by Boogie, and he's ranting about how, if you remember this, Google Plus took over YouTube and fucked up the comment section of YouTube. It was horrible. They had to get rid of it. And he was just talking about how easy it was to abuse and manipulate the whole system. Linking to viruses, linking to porn. What are you thinking? Oh yeah, 2013, solid year for schmoyoho. 2014, my favorite song would be Apparently. And that was this kid, he was there with his little sister, and the kid was basically just talking to the news people, and he kept using the word apparently a lot, and I guess it made him sound smart or whatever. Really cute song. Honorable mentions would be Scoreboard by Apollos Hester. I think he's like a football player, and he's basically saying, or rugby, I don't even know, but he's basically saying it's not about just the scoreboard, it's about, you know, having fun and doing it, you know, for the right reasons and whatnot, and it's a really nice, warm song. And then we got Bang the President, which is, the way he said it was like everyone wants to bang the president, like, you know, be on the president's case. But once you said the words bang the president, you know, it was schmoyoho meme material. So they did a really nice thing with that song. It was one of those like auto-tuning multiple like news clips and whatnot. So overall 2014 was solid for schmoyoho. Not my favorite schmoyoho year, but still good. For 2015, my favorite song has to be Selma 50th Anniversary, which actually uses the beat from the Martin Luther King Jr. Memphis song from back in 2010. But this time it's with Obama giving a speech about Selma, Alabama and those who marched. I think it's better than the original Martin Luther King version because it felt more songified. I guess the Martin Luther King version kind of felt a bit more spoken wordy. Not so much a meme song, but more of a motivational song, which is why I like it so much. For honorable mentions, we got Thunder Snow, which is just this news reporter guy who's like talking about the weather, and it's like snowing heavily and there's a lot of thunder, and he just loves the thunder snow so much and he's just so excited. The original was so good that the song was just gonna be amazing as well. Definitely an underrated schmoyoho song because it didn't do as big views as some of the others, but still amazing. Then we've got Obama Mixtape 1999. So Obama had this speech where he mentioned the phrase 1999, and that became like that title of the song. And it was a really catchy song. They eventually remade the song, but I honestly prefer the original version. So that's the one that I'm promoting here as an honorable mention. And finally we have First Kiss Today, which is some kid, I think he's like 12 or 13, recording a video on his phone, talking about how he just had his first kiss and he's so excited and his mind went kablooey, and it was like a really heartwarming song. Definitely give that one a listen as well. So overall 2015 was another good year for schmoyoho. Not their best year overall, but definitely better than 2014. For 2016, my favorite song would have to be Trump Goes Hard. And it kind of reminds you of Winning by Charlie Sheen in terms of the style of the song, but Trump is basically saying he goes hard and they turn that into the hook, and it's a really good song. Like, regardless of your political beliefs or whatever, it's just like they songify the news, they songify politicians and stuff like that, so it's all part of it. It's all good fun. Honorable mentions include Not Today, also known as The Building Is on Fire, which is this woman talking about how the building was on fire and she had to get her kids and bounce out. And then we got Trump versus Clinton featuring Blondie. And it's basically the debates that Trump and Clinton had. And actually, this was not one of my favorite songs, to be honest. But the first part where Trump was talking about Sean Hannity was so catchy, and everyone agreed that basically they had to upload a 10-minute loop of the first part of the song to their second channel. It was so crazy. But yeah, 2016 things were a bit slow. There were a few gems, but overall not their strongest year. I'll probably put it around 2014 levels. And if 2014 and 2016 are considered like the second worst years of schmoyoho in my opinion, then the worst would have to go to 2017. I just feel like they didn't really drop that much that I cared about. I actually struggled to pick one song for this year, but I guess for favorite song in 2017 I'd have to go Obama Out, which is where they songify his farewell address. It was a decent song, not one of my favorites overall, but still a good song. I don't even have any honorable mentions for 2017. I went through some of them. I don't like all the kinds of songs. I prefer the more hip-hop-y sounding ones, but I do like some of the other ones too, but I just didn't find much in 2017 that was really grabbing me, so I guess that would have to be the weakest year of schmoyoho for me. But if you thought they were falling off, think again, because 2018, they came strong. Favorite song in 2018 was YouTube Rewind 2018. After the abysmal official YouTube Rewind 2018, they made their own version where they took all the memes and all the things we cared about in 2018 YouTube, like, you know, steamed hams and all those things, and put it together in a very amazing song, which I honestly think is one of their best songs, period. I might even have to say top 10, but because the channel wasn't getting the views it used to get in the early 2010s, this video didn't get the views I think it deserved. It should have done like 50 million plus in my opinion, but it did like I think 5 million now that's sitting at. Definitely, if you remember YouTube from 2018, watch this video. And for honorable mentions, they still had it going on. They had Zuck Smoking Meats, which was Mark Zuckerberg doing a live stream talking about how he's smoking meats. And that was definitely a really good one because, you know, Zuckerberg is kind of seen as a bit of an alien, but this song actually makes him seem a bit more human, more relatable, you know. Then we've got Wreck-It Ralph featuring Kanye West, and Kanye West was using Wreck-It Ralph as an analogy for something, and then they used Wreck-It Ralph as well, clips and whatnot, and it was like a really motivational song, a really special song. And finally, we've got Water's Not Wet, which is this guy who had a viral video where he was being really charismatic and talking about how water isn't wet, and then schmoyoho turned that into a song, and it really sounds like a good song, even though he's wrong and water is wet, but you know, that's a topic for another day. 2019 was an interesting one. Favorite song would have to be Very Thin Ice, which is actually a remake of a part of a song that they did in 2009. The second video they did of auto-tuning like the news. They took one part that people liked the most, which was Very Thin Ice, and then expanded that into a full song, and they had clips of one of the Gregory Brothers from 2009 and then clips of him 10 years later in 2019 mixed together, and the song is really catchy. This is definitely one of my favorite schmoyoho songs, even though it's, you know, fairly recent, didn't get the views of the, you know, original video or whatever, but it was definitely a really catchy song. In terms of honorable mentions, it's a bit slow as well. We had Cardi B versus The Shutdown, where they took a Cardi B video of her being ratchet and they turned it into a song, which was cool. And then they had Creeper Old Man by Obama, which is basically Obama singing Revenge, you know, the Minecraft parody. So overall, 2019, there wasn't really much that I liked, but the favorite song was so strong that I still think it was a decent year. So overall, schmoyoho have stayed fairly consistent over 11 years, and I really can't wait to see what else they do. Overall, they've had some solid years and some solid great music that's come from them, and I just feel like I actually need to download their music. You know, I think I bought Intruder Song on iTunes, but there's a lot of their songs that I really need to collect and put in my iTunes library, because I feel like if something happens and that music is gone and I can't find it, I'm gonna be really annoyed. Like in my 80s, I'm gonna be like, oh, I wish I downloaded those schmoyoho songs. It's just amazing that for over 11 years, they have been pretty much the only source for high quality auto-tune the news and auto-tuning memes in general. There was only one time where I feel like they dropped the ball, and that was in 2012 when there was this huge viral video of this woman called Sweet Brown, and she went, "Ain't nobody got time for that," and that became a huge song. Some other random channel did that song and went viral off of it. They weren't even like consistent like auto-tune memers or whatever, but they did it and it just took off to the point where everyone just assumed it was schmoyoho because they were the guys who always did that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this REMreCAPS of schmoyoho. Very underrated in today's YouTube. If you're a fan of schmoyoho, let me know what your favorites are. And if you're not a fan of them, make sure to go check them out.
Cause everyone sounds better, so if I no lie. Your mama and your daddy and your mama's wife, oh yeah. Everyone sounds better.
But yeah, let me know what other things you want to see in REMreCAPS, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. More content coming soon to the channel. But it's your boy REMulous, Rem Gang, and I'm out.